I've spent the last 15 years hauling freight across the darkest stretches of the American highways. I've seen things out there in the dead of night that defy all logic. Today, I'm sharing my most terrifying real-life encounter, one that nearly cost me everything. But this isn't just a story. I'm going to break down exactly what I did to survive, and more importantly, what you need to do if you ever find yourself in the same nightmare. This isn't just for truckers. This is for anyone who drives alone at night. These tips could literally save your life.
It was 3 a.m. in the middle of a desolate stretch in Arizona. Thick fog, no cell service, and complete silence. Suddenly, my GPS glitched and my radio started picking up static. But beneath the static, I heard something that sounded like humans screaming. I pulled over to check the rig, but the moment I stepped out, the air turned ice cold. I saw a figure standing at the edge of my headlights. It wasn't human. Its movements were unnatural, disjointed, like a broken machine. My truck wouldn't start, the doors locked on their own, and I was trapped inside as this thing started circling my trailer.
My first instinct was to panic, but my years on the road taught me one thing: never lose control of your environment. I didn't try to fight it. Instead, I did 3 things that saved me. First, I stayed inside the cab and kept my foot off the ignition to avoid alerting it with engine vibrations. Second, I turned off all interior lights to adjust my night vision, keeping my eyes fixed on the side mirrors, never looking directly at the entity. Third, I used my external spotlights to create a perimeter of light, forcing it to keep its distance. Panic kills faster than the danger itself. You have to stay calm to think clearly. When the sun finally started to peek over the horizon, it was gone. I drove to the nearest station and found deep metallic claw marks on the side of my trailer. If you ever find yourself in a situation where your gut feeling tells you something is wrong, trust it. Never leave your cab if the engine dies in a remote area. Keep your doors locked, keep your high beam switches accessible, and have an emergency satellite communicator, not just a phone. Listen, the highway has its own rules. Don't be a victim of them. If you've ever had a weird experience on the road, drop it in the comments below. Stay safe out there and keep your eyes on the road.
If you made it through the first story, don't get too comfortable, because what happened next is something I've never been able to explain. A few months later, my trucking partner, Mark, and I were running a late-night load across a long, empty highway. We'd driven together for years, and nothing on the road ever really scared us. Then Mark's voice suddenly came over the CB radio. "Buddy, there's someone standing in the middle of the road." I looked up. What I saw next still keeps me awake some nights.
I focused on the road ahead. There really was a human-shaped figure standing in the center of the highway. No movement, no headlights from other vehicles, just complete silence. "Hit the horn!" I shouted. Mark blasted the air horn several times. The figure didn't move. We both slowed down, expecting the person to step away at the last second. Instead, the figure suddenly disappeared into the darkness beside the road. Not walked, not ran. It was simply gone. We pulled over immediately and searched the area with our flashlights. There were no footprints, no damaged vehicle, no person, nothing. A few miles later, we stopped at a truck stop to calm our nerves. We told an older truck driver what had happened. He stared at us for a moment before quietly saying, "You're not the first drivers to tell that story. Years ago, someone was killed on that stretch of highway. Since then, people have reported seeing a lone figure standing in the road late at night." I don't know what Mark and I saw that night. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was a trick of the darkness. Or maybe it was something that still can't be explained. Either way, I've never driven that highway alone again.